Fluent and chill, yeah, we call it how it's played. From the field to the court, every legend gets weighed. Fourth quarter heat over 2-minute drill. If you can't handle truth, better chill with the skill. LeBron and MJ, we break that smoke.
What the closest thing to perfection will that make you?
Stats don't lie, we just let us build. This is real talk sports, welcome to Fluent and Chill. Fluent and chill, yeah, we call it how it's played. From the field to the court, every legend gets weighed.
You know what? Sorry, I apologize. I'm not. Sorry. Hold on.
Hey, you know what? I've got this water, and we've got this red version. We got a red bottle, and we got a David Beckham version here. Then we got a blue.
Sorry, I forgot to take a drink before we started. Some of y'all think that's water. It's not. Over Chill's head. I don't know if it's over your head or my head. I gotta be honest, but you'll see a little square with a QR code that takes you to our merchandise shop where you can get stuff like this. Yeah, you can get what else do we have? Call Your Mother. We got Chill Town. We got stuff. Also customized. If there's anything, if you just want a shirt that says "One More Day," we make that for you. Maybe we'll put your face on. You know what? We'll talk after. We'll put your face on some of these things. So listen, I don't even know where to start, but let me for once say, because after last year's debacle, that broke my heart and started, I think, like a 10-game losing streak. My Bears went out last second and got the job done against the Washington Commanders. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty.
I don't want to get your blood pressure up, okay? That's what I don't want to do. I'm not trying to get your blood pressure up because I know what can happen if I start talking Bears and I start talking playoffs. And I know that you don't want to do that. So
here's the thing. No. I'll speak it. I'll take the fandom. You know, I have the ability to take the fandom out of it. Yeah. So here's where I struggle. Not struggle. Here's where I am with this. What's up, Woody? Lots of basketball stuff. Lots, like 5 seconds of football. There's a lot of teams that we thought were going to be good that are getting, like, Philadelphia got smoked.
Garbage.
Smoked. They're not garbage, but they got smoked. So there's
that performance was garbage.
That was good. Now, I know it's in the AFC. Baltimore, I get it. There's injuries. There's a bunch of. There's a lot of stuff going on where, like, when a team doesn't play well and is able to pull out wins, it does say, hey, if they can build on those, those are things that build confidence, that's a team that can go, surprisingly, a 10-7 team. And that in the NFC, because of what's going, that might be enough. Now, do they win in the playoffs? Not, probably not. And is that a good thing? Yeah, I think it is, because I hate that, in football, it's easier to turn around, but that losing culture is never good. Yes. So is there a chance when you're at 3-2? Yeah. Because even the games, so there's
the plus. Well, the plus side is that your boys are over 500, which gives you hope. Okay. The downside is they're still in last place in the AFC North. Right?
Well, that's the other part. That's a very good division.
They're in a nightmare of a division. Let's be clear about that. With Green Bay, right? With Detroit, with them. Yes, that's a nightmare of a division, and it doesn't help. Well, it doesn't help.
Don't sleep on Minnesota. I know the quarterback, there's question marks there, but they've got talent around the young, around him. Yes. So they're not horrible.
But here's the thing, Tone. Like I said, the good thing is you're over 500. The bad thing is you're in a nightmare division.
Sure.
But let's get back to the good stuff. Okay, so Tone, I was looking at your schedule and it's quite favorable. So on Sunday, y'all got the Saints coming. Y'all got the Saints coming into town. Y'all should beat them.
They're still the Aints. They're back to being the Aints. Right? They're the Aints, right?
Yes, y'all 100% should beat them. Then next Sunday, y'all got Baltimore, who can't stop a nosebleed. They can't stop anybody.
Right now, that looks like when at the beginning of the season, I'm like, hold on. There's some hope there. I like it. Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
And then you got Cincinnati, who I'm not sure if they're gonna win another game this year. I'm not sure of it. And I love Joe Flacco.
I don't know. Joe Flacco, see, that's I would have been better without him. Joe Flacco's one of those guys, he's like, at this point in his career, It's like, remember Ryan Fitzmagic, where it's just like he's going around, he's not doing it, and then one game he's just 500 yards, 5 touchdowns. You're like, what the hell? Where did that come from? Yeah, and then the next week he's back down to earth, and you're like, can you pick who you're going to be? Because I really don't like this. But yeah, we have a good situation with, like you said, the Saints, the Ravens, the Bengals, the Giants, who look better but are beatable.
I think that's fool's gold. I do.
Yeah. Vikings. That'll be tough. Steelers, Vikings, Eagles. Then it gets tough.
Yes, but these next 4 games, I think you can go on. So first of all, let's be clear, Tone. You're essentially on a 3-game winning streak right now. Can you run off your next 4 games and win 7 in a row? I think that can happen.
That's what I'm thinking. 7 in a row, and then it's just like, okay, then you got the tough part of the schedule, and can you go 500 against the Steelers, the Eagles, the Packers, the Browns, the Packers again, the 49ers? We'll argue about that one, and the Lions. That's the tough stretch. If you can go 500 down that stretch, can you go 5? Mm-hmm. That's what brings you back down to reality. Okay. And Baker Mayfield for MVP. All right. Yeah.
Wow. I can't believe I just heard that. All right. So just so you know, ladies and gentlemen.
Transition.
Yeah, just so you know, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna get to Baker Mayfield in a second. My man over here, he calls Baker Mayfield butter, right? What's going on right now with Baker Mayfield is something. There's nothing short of phenomenal. But I want to stay with the Bears for a second. So if you run off your next 7 games, right? Let's say you run off your next 7. These NFC games you got to win, Tone. Like the division games,
100%.
Can't go over.
Right. We got to split. We have to split. This is the hard part. If we split with Minnesota, Green Bay, and Detroit, we're good.
Yeah.
If we go 1-5,
no, that's not going to get it done.
It's not enough. It's not enough. And that's where, like, teams, like, if you remember, back during, look, they were great, don't get me wrong, but back during, like, the Patriots dynasty, they started the season with 6 wins. If you remember, Buffalo wasn't good at that time. Miami wasn't good at that time. So they were just walking through that division with the Jets. Is it the Jets is the other team in that division? Am I wrong? It is the Jets, right? Your team, everyone calls you Aaron Glenn. So it was like you have 3 bad teams. You're pretty much starting 6-0, 5-1 right off the hop. So it makes it a lot easier. When you're in a tough division, life becomes, when Seattle is good and Arizona typically isn't good, but when Seattle was good and San Francisco was good, and now you have that division where it's like you got 2-3 games or 2-3 teams that you got to play 2 times each. It makes it tough.
I think you could get 3 teams out that division in the playoffs, Tom. I do.
Yeah,
I think that you can get 3 teams out of that division in the playoffs. Caleb actually looks competent. I'm watching him roll out to the left. He's not making nearly as many mistakes. I think his reads are so much better than they were in the past. I think he's throwing the ball in the stands when he doesn't see nothing, when he doesn't see anything. And that's the mark of a damn good quarterback.
Still got some of those young, why the hell do you do that? And then but the good news is he'll do that and then come back with okay. Like there was a play yesterday and everyone thought of it like people didn't realize because it's just like, okay, he rolled out to the left and slid.
Yeah.
No. Those are the plays. I said this about Jalen Hurts a couple of years, the year that they won the Super Bowl. What I saw in the season where Jalen Hurts, instead of trying to do something or throw it downfield with either do something with his feet or throw it downfield, he just threw it out of bounds, or he just, live to play another down. Those are the things that take a quarterback, an average or good quarterback, and make them a great or above average quarterback. It's those little things. And so there was a play where they were driving. It was the last drive of the game, right? They're down 2. And so he wants to make something happen. He rolls out to his left and he's like, nope, forget it. And he just slides. Loss of 1. I think they counted it as a sack, and everybody in the betting world went crazy and lost their minds. But that being said, then next play, boom, and they're fine. And they're fine. Give it up for Swift though too. He had a game and a half. I think over 100 yards rushing. I think over 75 yards receiving. Touch like he made the offensive line. All offensive lines love to run block. So when you're getting your running back running like that, it's just more fun.
I just thought that DJ Moore would be a lot better for you for you guys, Tone. But I'm not impressed with him at all. To be honest.
No. He's a little banged up. And he was really good last year, except we weren't good. You'll see second half of the season healthy. You're going to see a better DJ Moore. He'll be their go-to guy.
Too.
Him and Rome.
Zach too.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay.
You want to think of? We don't need to get into a whole Baker Mayfield thing. But yes, I called him Butter Mayfield. I called him Faker Mayfield, and that was true at the time. And as I've said repeatedly, with new information, I'm very. That's what I always say. This: you give me new information that's factual. You can change my mind. You can. Change
I've always respected that about you. You're not one of those people who will stand on something even when you know for a fact you're wrong.
Once I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And it's, and I bring up the new information because, we're not going to talk a lot about this, but I want to put the challenge out there to anyone that will take it. Because I have new information about Wilt's 100, which I can't believe that there's 60 plus years later, there's still more new information coming out. I've put it out there. I'll be honest. Everybody's talking in the comments, but no, I said DM me, and I'm going to bring up 100 people, and you can all battle me and show me your evidence that he scored 100. No one's done it. No one's done it. Everyone's afraid because they know. If you indulge me for 3 minutes, and then we can move off of this.
I'm indulging you.
Give me any evidence. Give me any evidence that you have that he scored 100 points. You give me 1 point, I'll give you the counterpoint. You give me another point, we'll go back and forth. We'll be like Wolf Blitzer counterpoint.
So number one, the game actually happened. So we'll start 100%. There.
We agree the game happened.
The game actually happened. So
yes.
with the game happening, we have the box score. We have the box score that he scored 100 points. We don't have any video evidence. So what I'm trusting
just 1 point. Just 1 point. Just
1 point. I'm sorry.
Indulge me. 1 point. Okay.
One. The game actually happened. That's my.
The game actually happened. No. Okay. That one's fine. You said the box score. All right. Have you seen the box score?
I have seen the box score.
Not the typed up one that everybody shows.
No. The written down in pencil. That one in pencil.
Yeah, okay. In pencil. So 300 points scored in that game. Super fast paced game. Who was the scorekeeper in that game?
His name is Harvey. I can't tell you his last name, Tony. I know he passed away in 2015. He used to work for the 76ers. It's Harvey something.
What was his role with the Philadelphia Warriors at that time?
Yeah. I think he was the scorekeeper.
He was their PR guy.
Okay, so he wasn't the scorekeeper.
Would he have had a reason to help Wilt score 100 as their public relations person?
That is there's some motivation there, sure, absolutely. Like if he scores 100,
you got
I can enhance.
You got the scorecard, which their PR guy himself filled out. Okay, yeah. What's the next point?
The next point,
we agree there's no video. We agree there's no video.
We don't
evidence.
have any video evidence. We have no video evidence of him.
Because some video was released last year or the year before that even the person who posted it said this is not video from that game. No. It's just to be used as a I don't even know why he posted it and said the 100-point game. And then in the comments, if you read it, so there was no video that. In fact, that game in Hershey, Pennsylvania, that stadium not even set up to have any video, not even set up to have radio. But we'll get to that in a second.
So I want to say his name is Richie Gary. He either plays for the Sixers or he played for the Knicks. Yep. In the game, he said the big fella is going for 100 tonight. So these are the guys that are actually playing in the game that witnessed him scoring 100.
Do you know any player ever in the history of basketball who was tracking the points of another player from another team or his own team?
I don't.
So how accurate was his number?
It was pretty accurate because
really? No. If I had you at the end of a game ask a player how many points did he score, would he know?
Oh, if I said 100 and I guessed 100, I mean that doesn't mean that that's actually what it is.
No, it could have felt like 100, but it was 60. It could have been 80. We don't. Okay, so the player's out. Okay, what's the next point?
The next point is we do have radio.
That's the new information. Oh, I'm glad you brought that one up.
We do have radio. If I'm not mistaken, right? If I'm not mistaken, with the radio, I think we're in the third quarter, and Chamberlain's got like 69 or something to that effect. He's got like 69 points.
Your memory is starting to fade, sir. The only radio that we supposedly had was the last 2 minutes of the game, where Bill Campbell, who was the radio voice of the Warriors, says, okay, he's got 86 or 94, 96, 98. Oh, he's got 100. And it's rumored allegedly that Bill Campbell was in the stadium doing a live radio broadcast. Now, keep in mind, he's the engineer, the play-by-play guy, and the color guy. He's doing it all by himself. How does he know how many points Wilt Chamberlain has? Well, in those days, they would have a running total, and they would just mark down how many points each player had on a scribble note sheet.
Sure.
So even that isn't accurate. But here's the new information that is confirmed. That radio is Fugazi. Bill Campbell, they found his, memoirs or whatever, and that last 2 minutes was a recreation of the game that he recorded post-game, after the game, from his notes. It is not a live broadcast from the game. Go look it up if you don't believe me. It is factual. It is confirmed. He recreated those last 2 minutes off of his own notes.
This is unbelievable.
I love new information.
I really don't. I don't. The reason why I don't like this, Tone, is because, like, are you trying to sit here and tell me that I got duped?
All I'm trying to tell you is there's no. I'm not. Listen, I'm just saying that I've said this to you before.
This is what it sounds like to me. The only evidence we have is that the game was played. That's it. That's all we got.
That's it.
We got nothing else. We don't know if you actually scored 100. We don't know if you really scored 90. We don't know if you even scored 60. We got a box score from Harvey, right? We got a box score from Harvey. What you're telling me is Harvey, who is the PR guy, he's cooking the books because this is going to look good if I end up. If I end up.
Well, that's great. That's a great point.
Even though Harvey made it clear, I needed 100-point game like I needed another hole in my head. I did not need this.
Well, hold on now.
Because you're saying I did not need this.
Well, but what else is he going to say? I needed this and I cooked the books? No, of course he said I didn't need this. But hold on. Let me add a little context to this because I love my context. So. Because people say, in 1962, why would they have a black man scoring 100 points? That's another very common one that I hear. I don't care how racist you are. If you're a businessman, what's the most important color?
Green.
And when they went to Hershey, Pennsylvania, why did Philadelphia and New York play in Hershey? No.
That's a good ass question. So I still have not gotten a satisfactory answer on that. Why the game was moved?
So the game wasn't moved. It was actually scheduled to be in Hershey, and the reason it was in Hershey is throughout that season and that time, they would go out and play neutral site games because it wasn't as easy for people to get to the city, to Philadelphia. So they'd go out to like outskirt towns and play an NBA game to try and get build up a fan base because. Right? Like not everybody can get to Philadelphia. So, hey, we're going to come to you. You have an arena. We're going to come to you. So it was common. However, when they did that, it typically, let me pause there for a second. The reason they did that is they were trying to build up a fan base because in the 60s, right through until the early 2000s, just think about that. What was the main source of income for NBA teams?
The main source of income, it was ticket sales.
Ticket sales, yeah. Until the $6 billion ESPN deal in 01, 02, whenever the heck that was. Up until then, the number one thing was ticket sales. And so they wanted to bring people in the seats. And the way to do that was to go out to these outskirts towns and say, hey, it's worth you coming into town, into the city to see this. So they would do that typically. However, most times they would send a photographer. They didn't send a photographer. They would send a TV crew, like videographer. They didn't send a videographer. So they sent, it was a perfect storm of we're in a neutral site. There's no video. We need to get ticket sales up. What better way for the businessman to get some more green, to get people to come to watch a guy who's already averaging 50 games and say, man, if you weren't there, no video. If you weren't in the stands, You missed the most historic game in NBA history. You got to come out to these NBA games because you never know what you're going to see.
He scored 100. You
I'm
missed it.
sold. I'm coming to the next one. I'm coming to the next one. When Kobe scored 81, that game wasn't sold out. I was there. The next night, I guarantee you it was sold out.
The next night in Staples Center was sold out. Here's the difference, though, Tone. Okay, so I understand that there's guys who don't take, they don't have track. They don't keep track of other guys' points. But if I'm the scorekeeper, I got to make sure that my notes are all the way correct. Because with that scorecard, which was in pencil, by the way, Tone, I don't see any erases. I don't see, nope, that was wrong. Nope, I didn't see any of that.
No.
He put down exactly what he saw that night, right? So essentially, and I understand the idea of asking questions because you're a conspiracy theorist, of asking questions. If Harvey is seeing this, 2 points, because we don't have a 3-point line, and as fast as the game is going, I understand that the game's going fast, but I still know who has the ball. It doesn't take long for me to pick my head up and recognize, oh, Chamberlain just scored. Okay, got it. And they just got the ball back up. Chamberlain just scored again. Because, by the way, Tone, the guy sitting next to me.
See what you're doing? See what you're doing? Up, down, head up, down. You know how much you could miss?
Okay, with that being said,
scores,
I do have a play.
Everything. Points. He's doing points, rebounds, assists, steals, fouls. He's all by himself. Confirmed. He's by himself, the sole scorekeeper with no TV monitor, no replays, no TV timeouts in a smoky arena.
Correct.
I challenge anyone to sit at a desk and watch a game and try to score it and be 100% accurate by yourself.
Well, he wasn't by himself, Tone, because he wasn't, because I got my play-by-play guy right here.
No,
No, sitting right next to me that I could hear him. Chamberlain for two.
The play-by-play guy is up about 15, 20 rows because they had to patch him in through a phone line to get the radio broadcast. They aren't sitting side by side.
That's
the information that people don't know. That's the information they don't know. The radio, so it's patched in through a phone line.
He's going to get us killed. He's going to get us killed.
Patched in through a phone line, and the phone line went to the radio station, and it was a dedicated phone line, the radio station, and then the radio station allegedly, the phone line or went to the live broadcast. But there's no even proof of no one has said, oh, I listened to it on the radio. Like someone may have said they did, but there's no record of anyone saying any recording.
Oh, Tone, listen to what. So I want you to listen to what you're saying.
So all I'm saying is there's more questions than answers. That's all.
No, you're not saying that. No, you're not saying that because the questions that I have aren't getting answered. So essentially, I'm the scorekeeper. I'm sitting at the table. Nobody else sitting next to me. I don't have the play-by-play guy. I don't have the play-by. Who is? So basically, I'm doing this like high school. That's essentially what I'm doing.
No, even high school, there's 2 guys. Or girls,
right? So it's just me. I'm the only one here.
Just one.
Tone. This doesn't make any sense whatsoever to me, and here's why this doesn't.
It does.
No, it doesn't. Here's why it doesn't.
If we had a plan,
no. If I have a plan, this is why this doesn't make sense to me. Chamberlain goes off for 100. We got people who are at the game, so we know the game happened.
Sure.
In addition to knowing the game happened, I got one scorekeeper sitting at the table, which is when guys check in. Who's sitting next to him when guys check in? When we got the PA announcer is upstairs. There is no PA announcer. That's downstairs.
The PA announcer is the same guy doing the radio broadcast who's up. Yeah,
he's upstairs. Tone. This sounds like a fucking Bush League. This doesn't sound like
it's
not, Tone. It's
stadium.
Not like that.
But it was.
No, Tone, you're not selling me this. This is not what's going on in 1962 in the NBA. There's no way that even because Hershey, Pennsylvania
was.
Oh no, because even in Hershey, Pennsylvania is not the first time that they had NBA basketball in a different place. Bob Cousy said it a bunch of different times. They were in Sheboygan. They were in Tri-City, in places like that. Right. So with them being in places like that, we have to prepare for that. It's not like out the blue, yo, we're going to Hershey. We knew we were going to Hershey, Tone.
So then they prepared. They didn't have photographer, not even one photographer? Not even one photographer.
So that picture of Chamberlain shaking hands with the other people.
There was a guy in the stands, and he said, "Hey, who was a photographer? He brought his son to watch the game. It's a story. You can go read it. It's his story." And he says, and they asked me, "Any chance you brought your camera?" And he said, "Yes." And he ran out to his car and got his camera and came in to take the picture. That is a valid story from Harvey and the photographer himself, who said that's what happened. They'll tell. So it's not a conspiracy. That they said, "I came to watch the game with my son." And they were like, "Oh my God, can you go get your camera?" And he ran out to his car, got his camera, came in and took that picture.
Tone, there's no difference between that and a guy who we only got 6 guys and a guy is in the stands and we grab him out the stands to play. That's what that sounds like to me.
That's what happened.
You know what? This guy fouled out. We only got 4 guys. Can you play basketball? That's not a professional basketball league.
I'm in the stands and someone recognized me and they like, hey. Actually, you know when I had that dream? When I was going to see the Globetrotters and Cheese was like, put me in the front row. Our guy Cheese from the Globetrotters, and I was like, I was just waiting for him to be Cheese, be like, "You know what? Come on, Fluent,
come on,
Fluent, go take a couple shots with us."
Oh, I'm putting this out there. And the reason why I'm putting this out there because I want to put this to bed. I want this to be put to bed. I want the NBA to be on notice. I want to make sure that somebody. I don't know how big of a following I have. I don't know how big of a voice I have, but I want this to be put out there. Yo, did this actually happen? Prove that this happened, because. My guy is telling me that there's more questions about Wilt Chamberlain scoring 100 points than there are answers. You didn't have a photographer at the game. The play-by-play guy was patched into the phone. He wasn't even actually a play-by-play guy. Your scorer at the scorer's table.
He was the radio voice. He was the radio voice of the Warriors, but he was doing engineering, play-by-play, color. He was, and he had to, for him to track the points, he had to do himself. So all I'm saying is, if they said, "Hey," if Wilt, this is my theory. Now, this is theory based on all the stuff that I know. Hey, if Wilt's having a big night, let's see if we can get him to 100. Cool. He's having a big night. I don't think he wasn't having a big night. So he's having a big night. But again, I'm tracking the score myself. So I'm going to, because it's not like he's stealing points from somebody else. He could have just every once in a while two and add it. No one knows what the hell the score is, right? And so at the end of the third quarter, he says, "Oh my God, hey, let everybody be on notice. Wilt's got 86. Wilt could have had 56 for all we know. Again, he could have had 66. I don't know. But he said, "Hey, Wilt has 86." And then they play out the fourth quarter and do this, or halfway through the fourth quarter, he could have said, "Hey, Wilt's at 90." And now it's like, "Hey, let's get him to 100." And that's when, because then you hear the stories. "Hey, he told us that he was here, and we started feeding him, and then they started fouling him and putting him on the line." And so Wilt's having a big day. And hey, let's make it. You know what it reminds me of? Like with refs. No one wants to say that the NBA is rigged. However, they do tell refs, "Hey, pay attention to this foul." Right? You've heard that before. "Hey, we want to crack down on this." And so they watch for it more and they crack down on it. "Hey, if a game is getting out of hand, tighten it up a little," right? We want to make sure that it doesn't get out of hand and, fights, these types of things. So to say, "Hey, if he's close, make it happen." So I'm not saying they came in and said, "We're going to make," I'm just saying they said, "Hey, he's having a good night. Hey, let's make sure he gets there." That's that.
Which we've actually seen.
Everything was in position for this to be a Chicago Black Sox incident. Like no camera, no photographer, no videographer. 2 of the Knicks centers, I think, were out. At least one was out for, he's sick. He was throwing up. The other one got fouled out. Right? It worked. Again, probably having a big game. Like the dude was averaging 50 a night. It's not like it came out of nowhere. So I just think it was a perfect storm, because what happened all over the United States the next day, every newspaper, Wilt's 100, Wilt's 100. It's everywhere. Now this is must-see TV. It's actually brilliant from a marketing perspective. I love it. I love it.
My problem with this, 2 things. Number one, if we're leaving the scorekeeper, even though, again, we're in Hershey, Pennsylvania, this isn't the first time we've played in a remote arena. This isn't the first time we've played outside of Philadelphia. This isn't the first time we played outside of New York or someplace like that. That's not my issue. My issue is we weren't prepared for something like this. We got Wilt Chamberlain, who's averaging 50 and 26 in Hershey, Pennsylvania. The Philadelphia Warriors. a game, by the way. He's averaging 50 a game. And it's not ridiculous for me to think that if I'm averaging 20 a game on a night when I can't miss a shot, I could get double what I just did. I could get 45. That's not ridiculous for me to think that a night that I got that going. That's not my issue. My issue is even if we don't have, right, even if we don't have video guys, even if we don't have radio guys, the idea that I only have my scorekeeper and nobody else. Not only do I only have one scorekeeper, but there's nobody else to verify this. It's just him. That's it. We haven't done this anywhere else. We didn't do this in Sheboygan. We didn't do this in Tri-City. We didn't do this in Boston. We didn't do this in Philadelphia. We only doing it here in Hershey, Pennsylvania, which, by the way, Wilt told us he didn't sleep 1 minute the night before the game. And the reason why he didn't sleep, because Wilt said that he's a hypochondriac where he kind of over exaggerates, but he's also, what is that called, Tone? When you don't, when
hypochondriac is when you think you're sick of everything.
Yeah, but he said that. Then he said that's one of the reasons why he was up. He's a hypochondriac. And with that being said,
he had a bunch of diseases. Yeah. Okay.
And when I can't, and when I don't sleep,
or insomniac, he doesn't sleep.
That's what I'm thinking about. An insomniac. And Wilt said he was a ridiculous insomniac. He didn't sleep very much. So he said he didn't sleep 1 minute the night before. In fact, he said they got to the arena earlier that day and he was playing video games. Like he had been up
he was shooting and he was making everything.
Yes, he said he was up all night and he was at the arena playing video games.
Yeah, so, Wilt has said a lot of things though, but yes, go on.
If I'm thinking about, we're playing in Hershey, Pennsylvania. We're a professional basketball league that's been in existence for over 15 years now. We played in remote places. I'm going to be prepared for this, especially with arguably our biggest star in the league playing in Hershey, Pennsylvania, averaging 50 a game. Because if he's averaging 50, yes, this could happen. Because last I checked, Tone, that season, I think Wilt's last, if you go back and look at his numbers, I think his last like 10, 12 games, he was averaging something like 70 a game. I know that sounds.
He was on a heater. Absolutely.
He was averaging like 70 a game. He was averaging like 70 and 30, like the last 10, 15 games of the season. Mm-hmm. So if that to me sounds like the league was prepared, because if they weren't, then I think that this is one of the most egregious professional jobs that I've ever seen. If I got a guy sitting at the scorer's table who is my professional scorer, that's who he is, Tone. My professional scorer. This is his job to take the score. And by the way, it's not like they only played at that pace that night. They played at that pace all season long. So he's seen Wilt, right? He's seen Wilt go up and down. So if he's cooking the books that night, why am I not thinking that he's not?
Well, he typically now he wouldn't be the only scorer though. There typically would be one from each team. This was a rare instance where there was only one from their team only, and it happened to be their PR guy. So that's what I said. It was a perfect storm of stuff. All right. That being said, let me address this very quickly. I see you support the Blue Jays. They are my hometown team. I'm a Dodgers fan since the 80s. When I picked up my Lakers, I picked up the Dodgers as well. However, they are my hometown team, so I do support them, yes. And the team that my son plays for, the AA team, is also called the Jays. So we have a lot of Jays gear from his baseball team. And the Yankees going on now with them not being on when they play the Seattle Mariners. Well, here's the problem. And I say this a lot with teams. They want to say the right things, but the Jays beating the Yankees, they acted like they won the World Series. That was their World Series, beating the Yankees. And there was a drop-off. This is why I don't like the in-season tournament. Popping champagne, whatever. You peak too early and then... So,
sounds like they spent it. It sounds like they spent it all.
They were so hyped for the Yankees that there's a letdown. Now, can they turn it around in Seattle and win 2 games in Seattle the way Seattle came to Toronto and won 2 games? Maybe. But I said it after they beat the Yankees when I saw like Vladdy, Guerrero, and Big Papi from Boston joking around with the Yankees lose. Like, it was great. Everybody loved it.
Yankees.
Oh, Yankees lose. I think that was their World Series. It's kind of like, we remember Denver when they were the Nuggets when they were the 8th seed, right? First round, they upset the 1 seed, and it's like, and then like It happens. Okay, so where do we want to go next? So here's where I want to go. I want to show you a video. And the reason I'm showing you this video is I think the NBA, and even more so the WNBA, can learn something from the past. Because I've said to you not once, not twice, about a million times, I think they all do a shitty job of marketing their sport and marketing their players. If they were to do stuff like this for their top 5, top 10 players in both leagues,
yeah,
I think they would have a much better I don't want to say fan base, but I think they would tell better stories. So I'm reading a horrible comment as I'm talking, and I shouldn't. So let me play it, and then I'll read.
When little children go out to play basketball these days, it seems most pretend to be Michael Jordan. And why not? He's become an icon of sports and television. They're 2 tiny windows onto the world, and thus he dominates their imaginations. But that is myth. And down here, well, that's basketball reality. Imagine what it's really like to be Michael Jordan. Imagine being assigned to the opposing center, giving up 50 pounds and 7 inches. Imagine that in the marquee matchup, he doesn't have to guard you, but you have to guard him. Imagine that every time your team trails by a basket with 10 seconds to play, you have to take the shot. And then in overtime, there's no time to be tired or injured or to want help from a teammate. It's you they're watching all over the country, all over the world, in fact. It's you they expect to win the game. Playing 52 minutes of a 53-minute contest, you're still required to make this kind of exclamation point at the finish. So, even as the children say, I'm going to be Michael Jordan someday, you wonder if somehow, amid the injuries, the fatigue, and the expectations, he'll find a way to be Michael Jordan again tonight.
I don't care if you like Michael Jordan, if you hate Michael Jordan, if you ignore the name and just listen to the story being told, as that's the intro to a finals game, and you get chills. They need to do, like, did you see anything like that for Asia?
No, they didn't.
Why?
I was at game.
What a story to tell, right? An MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, multiple times, the best player that, like, probably you're watching the greatest player in WNBA history live in person. Yeah. Not telling the story. Did they do? I think they did LeBron an injustice. They didn't tell stories like this about LeBron. And now you're trying to have a new face of the league. Well, you know what? Do this for the top 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 players and see who do people gravitate to, because you can't pick the next face of the league. The fans will pick that. And there you go. They'll tell you who it is. Tell these stories. I don't know what's wrong with droopy balls, but I am a Magic and a Laker. Actually, let's be clear. I'm an NBA. If you're going to call me a fanboy, get it right. I'm an NBA fanboy, then a Laker fanboy, then a Magic fanboy, then a Kobe. And I already went through my list. I have LeBron actually on my favorite list, higher than Jordan. So that just proves droopy balls.
Playing, by the way.
Yeah, it doesn't. Playing, by the way. It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't know. Droopy balls doesn't know what he's talking about. But if you want to challenge our basketball insight, come on. We'll have you on at 9:30 and see what you know. So what do you think of that? Like, when I saw that, I was like, man, they don't tell stories like this anymore. It was so good.
And that was going on. Not only was that going on then, that was going on throughout. That was in 1991, by the way. And that was going on throughout the 90s. And it was going on in the 2000s with the Lakers. It was going on all the way up until almost 2010. Like there were stories. There were stories being told about better players.
Yeah.
There were stories because they were promoting the league. And Tone, to your point, watching this footage of Jordan, and I got tricked. And when I got tricked, Tone, I got duped, because I, at a young age, was dumb enough to think I could be that good. And I was dumb enough to think that I could do that, when in reality, no, I can't. I was not that good. But watching stuff like that, watching him do what he was doing against the Trailblazers, watching him beat Magic and the Lakers in the finals, it's like, yo, maybe I could do that too. When in reality, no, I couldn't do that. No way was I even close to that good. But I think that the NBA was still at that time, it was about their games. It was about the players and their games. And it was about marketing these players and their games. It was about marketing Ewing. It was about marketing Jordan. It was about marketing Malone and Olajuwon and Magic. It was about putting these guys in your living room for people who don't know basketball. And knowing that Mrs. Fluent, for example, she doesn't really know much about basketball, but there's this guy that plays in Chicago named Jordan, and my son likes him, so I got to get him a pair of sneakers. So I'm going to watch who this guy is. I don't know who this guy is, but I'm going to watch him. Same idea with this guy, Shaquille O'Neal, this big guy that plays in Orlando. I mean, I think the league did such a great job in marketing these guys. Tone, this example of Jordan right here is a testament to how the league was marketing guys. Remember, in the span 1991, 1992, 1993, you lost Magic, you lost Bird, then you lost Jordan in that 3-year span. And then in the 4th year, you lost Isaiah Thomas. So in 4 years, you lose Magic, Bird, Jordan, Isaiah Thomas. But they keep going. So how do we keep going? We got this young, charismatic, big guy in Orlando who we're gonna turn him into the next Jabbar. Only except he's more likable. That's what we're gonna do with him.
And,
we're gonna make him.
And don't forget his sidekick, right? It was good that he had him and Penny, right? Yes. So there was remember Little Penny? Remember Little Penny?
Absolutely. Yes, I do remember that. When looking at that stuff though, Tone, it is very nostalgic, but I think that it's a testament to how the league was and how the league is today, and how they basically fallen off in doing their job.
Well, here's the thing, and you see people in the comments saying, you realize that wasn't an ad, by the way. That was a pre-story,
the intro.
Before the game started. That was the intro to the game. Now, would that type of thing work today? No, probably not. But you put it into a format that works for today's consumer. Who are you going after? At the end of the day, respectfully, when you say, this wouldn't work on the kids today, respectfully, no one cares about the kids because the kids don't have money. Okay, your target audience is like 24 to 45. And so you're going to do so if you're 35 to 45, the ones that have disposable income,
sure,
that'll kind of work because there's some nostalgia to it, right? A little black and white. Just imagine, LeBron and the Lakers make it to the playoffs, and the first game, it's a black and white showing highlights of LeBron from high school, into the pros, and be like, is this the last playoffs we're going to see him in? His 23-year dominance of the league. Like, that's a story that, okay, you got to do it in probably a minute. And that was, just so you know, that was only 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So now you got to shorten it. But you don't think that would work? Of course it would work. For the younger guys, okay, you probably do it like a TikTok video's got to be 15 to 20 seconds. No problem. You can change how you do it, but the point is, people watch these. Just go on any social media and watch the videos. Why do you think TikTok went from 1 minute to 3 minutes to 5 minutes to 10 minutes to 30 minutes? Right? YouTube, right? YouTube still pop. Like people watch if it's engaging and interesting. Yeah, if it's boring, sure, no one's going to watch it. So I thought that was interesting because I was like, I think they're missing out on opportunities. And like I said, more so the WNBA, because nobody knows these WNBA players unless you're watching regularly like we are, right? And even I'll tell you, I probably only know 50% of them. I don't know their stories. I don't know where Asia, even I don't know where she came from, what she did, those stories. Like, do you remember they used to do like the background and they'd go to their hometown and talk to their high school coaches and stuff? That people still care about that stuff. So I think.
And people do care, Tone. That's not your opinion. That's a fact. People 100% care. But especially in today's atmosphere, even with social media, I think that you can actually, enhance a guy with doing stuff like that.
100%.
Because of where we live today, and how clickbait is so important and so prevalent. Not only clickbait, but to put a guy like James, to put a guy like Curry on the center stage, and before a playoff series, Steph Curry, the greatest shooter to ever live. Could this be his last playoff run?
Oh yeah, 100%. And with him,
what he's done.
With him, we've got the clips of him. I remember I actually have this clip where he's on the Raptors court. I think he's in the 7th grade because he was going to school here at that time. Dell, his dad, was playing for the Raptors, and he's like shooting from like half court and making them on the Raptors court. And like you could start him so young and like show that, you know, from son of, right, where he's like the ball boy on the sidelines, because people always tell stories about seeing him on the side. There's so many things so many stories you could share. I to this day remember laughing, and I make fun of Jordan all the time for this. His dad in one of those pre-game things said, they asked him what he would be doing if he didn't play basketball, and he's like, "Oh, if he wasn't playing basketball, he'd be pumping gas somewhere in Carolina."
This dude would be in trouble, bro. Oh my goodness! If he had to work for a living,
that's a funny story, right? Or the stories of Larry, his brother, who's like 5'0", beating him in 1-on-1. Like those are good stories. Quickly, yes. Just I always do a little interjection on baseball. Yes, Cal Riley should win the American League MVP. Not because Aaron Judge isn't great, but I just think a catcher who I think he hit like 60 home runs, I think all time.
He played better than Aaron Judge this year.
But he also had a much more important job. Like, no offense, playing right field versus catcher. Catcher's a much more important job. So I think, yeah, absolutely, that should be the case. All right, let's move to current day NBA. Speaking of some big fellas,
since we on that subject,
last year I told you, and you told me I was wrong, but if it wasn't for the injury, I would have been right, that Wemby was going to win Depoy. Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
And if he didn't get hurt, we agree he would have won, correct? Do you agree? Whether you agree with the choice, you agree if he didn't get hurt, he would have got
probably would have gotten it, yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he probably would have gotten it. Yes.
He's playing preseason like he's the best player in the league.
He looks really good, Tone. Yes, he does. There's things that I'm seeing from him that are pretty impressive, especially at the age that he at.
Is it crazy of me to say he's going to get some MVP votes?
No, it's not. He might get one. Yeah, if he plays the whole season, in terms of first place votes, he'll probably he may get one, depending on what San Antonio does. But he could very well get like a second or third place vote. I mean, I don't think that's ridiculous to think, especially if San Antonio ends up finishing in the top 6, somewhere like that. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he got like a second or third place vote. But I think, again, what we're trying to do with Wemby is we're trying to turn him into something that he's not yet.
That's what I was going to ask you. Is it too fast?
Yes, we're getting there. I promise you.
Are we so desperate for a face of the league that we're going to rush him into it?
Yes, that's exactly what's going to ultimately happen. I think we want him to be something. We want him to be something that we think he is now, instead of what he's going to be in the future. So Wemby would have won Defensive Player of the Year. Well, if he does that, now that substantiates what everybody else says about him. He's the best defensive player in the league. When in reality, when a guy wins the Defensive Player of the Year, you guys tell me that that's not the best. That's not the best defensive player in the game. So, I mean, Tim Duncan doesn't have any Defensive Players of the Year. You telling me that that Rudy Gobert is a better defensive player than him? Is that what I'm understanding? I say that to say Wemby is on his way to being a special player in the NBA. And the idea of moving him into the top 5 by the end of this season, I think is crazy to me, Tone, because I feel like there's things that you have to get to in order to be a top 5 player. And one of them has to be, you got to be around for a while. Like, I don't think that guys just show up and they top 5 players. I'm trying to remember the last time I saw a guy who showed up in year 3 and had not produced at that level and then turned into a top 5 player. Tracy McGrady didn't do that. And I'm thinking of lower level top 5 players. Tracy McGrady didn't do that. James Harden didn't do that. Like, I'm thinking about guys like Jordan, Shaq. Like, Shaq wasn't a top 5 player in year 3. Like in year 3, this was 1995.
In 1995, he lead his team to the NBA final. You wouldn't have put him as a top 5, or at least in the conversation. Top 5.
He did take his team to that, but here's the difference with that, Tone. The difference with that is Shaq, even if he wasn't a top 5 player, he had played his way into that. Even by year 3, He had played his way up into that point. So he had led the league in scoring. He was the Rook of the Year. He took his team to the NBA championship. So now we can have a conversation about Shaq being in the top 5. Because if I think about in 1985, who was a top 5 player. So Olajuwon was a top 5 player. Dave Robinson was a top 5 player. Barkley was a top 5 player. Scottie Pippen was a top 5 player. I'm thinking about guys like that at that point. These guys are top 5 players. Grant Hill. No, not Grant Hill. Not yet. Not in 1995. No, not yet. Not yet. You didn't know that, Tone?
No.
Oh, I thought you knew that. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
He had pancreatic cancer.
Oh,
1 years old. Definitely.
I did not know that. I'm sorry. Shout out to D'Angelo.
Yeah,
I used to, man, when Brown Sugar came out, I got myself a brown leather jacket. Dark brown leather jacket with the baggy blue jeans. I was like, I couldn't do the cornrows, but I was like, I pulled that look off.
So again, Tone, I'm thinking about the top 5 players during that time. So Dave Robinson was a top 5 player. Olajuwon was a top 5 player. Scottie Pippen was a top 5 player. Karl Malone was a top 5 player. Let's see, who else was a top 5 player during that time? Barkley. I think Barkley was top 5
people.
player.
They can't all be top 5. That's 10 people.
Yeah. I think Barkley was in the conversation as being a top 5 player.
You agree Shaq was in that conversation?
I think Shaq was in that conversation as being a top 5 player.
Was LeBron not in the conversation after his third year?
So after his third year, 03, 04, 04, 05, 05, 06, he finished second in the league in league MVP votes. Yes, James was definitely a top 5 player, but he had played himself up to that point. Like, has Wemby played himself up into the point of being a top 5 player?
Well,
like, I can't put
regarded. I think he's regarded as one of the best defensive players in the league.
Yeah,
whether you agree with that or not. Offensively, I agree. I don't think we've seen enough. I think this is the year, and that's what I'm saying. I think this year, if we see with the team that's around him, if we see the same kind of defense with a more well-rounded offensive game with Fox, with Castle, with Harper, with the pieces he has around him, and San Antonio wins some games, I think we're going to have the conversation. And I even though I do agree with you, I think it may be too soon.
I don't think we're there yet. I think if I could see something substantial at the end of this season, even though what I've seen in the preseason, he looks like he's bodying guys, getting guys off of him. He's running, he's rim running more. I really like that about him. They are getting him the basketball more. I don't think that I even argue his rim protection. I think he's the best rim protector in the game, even going into year 3. I don't think that there's a better rim protector in the game. That includes Evan Mobley, and I think Evan Mobley is the best defensive player in the game. But I don't think he had better rim protector than Wemby. No, I don't think that. But the stuff that I see him doing, Tone, if that translates into the regular season and he can hold up physically, I think we can definitely have a conversation about him being top 10. Top 5 is something different. Top 5 is something completely different when we're talking about being one of the 5 best players in the game. That's something.
All right, so we go top 10, and when you look at the 10, there's guys that they're just not face of the league material. Either they don't want it, they don't have the personality to do it. There's just, and again, it will all have to come down to winning, because you have to have. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to win championships, but there does need to be a level of success, right? You have to be able to go deep into the playoffs. So, speaking of a level of success, go ahead.
Like you just said, Tom. So, let's see: SGA, Joker, Giannis, Luka, Anthony Davis, KD, James, Curry, Donovan Mitchell, Anthony Edwards, Jalen Brunson, Cade Cunningham. No, I'm not doing Cade Cunningham yet. Jalen Brunson. Did I say Donovan Mitchell?
I believe you did.
Yeah, so I'm thinking like 11 guys, and then Wemby. Mm-hmm.
I feel like I want to look at my top 10 because I think I have it. And I do, and this was for this season. This is looking forward into this season. And
by the way, this is
I have Wemby at 7 coming out of at the end of this season.
I don't think that's ridiculous to think that Wemby could be like anywhere between 8 and 11. I don't think that's
him and listen. I have Anthony Davis at 8, and if Anthony Davis stays healthy, same thing with both of them, right? If Anthony Davis is healthy, he's got a more polished offensive game because obviously he's been in the league a few years. Those two could easily flip flop. Those two could easily flip flop.
Yeah.
You mentioned the first name you said was SGA.
Yes.
And he said something interesting, and I'll tell you the quote what he said here. SGA says he doesn't want to play in his 40s and will retire as soon as he loses his step. He said, quote, "I definitely think I can. I won't, though. I won't want to miss that much of my kid's life. And there's a certain point in your career where you reach your peak. I don't fault guys for." So he doesn't fault guys for leaving early. I don't think he faults guys for staying. But he's making it at least, I don't know if he's making it clear, but he's basically saying, I'm nothing against those guys. I'm not going to be that guy. Do you hold that against him? Do you appreciate that? Is it like, nah, good for him. Like he knows what's important in life, and no disrespect to basketball and making millions of dollars, but family is more important. Where do you, because I'll be honest, I'm on the fence. I teeter-totter a little bit because I'm the same one yelling that LeBron should keep playing because he's a top 10 player. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, but I get it if he wants to go and just be with his family.
Well, two things, Tone. I think this is something that sounds good right now. He's a basketball player. And as a basketball player, when you start getting closer to the end, it's a lot more holding on than guys think. Shaq used to say all the time, yo, I ain't gonna miss this when I'm gone. Man, you have no idea how much he missed it. All the time he would talk about still being able to play. He 100%. That's why I worry about when I hear guys saying, right, that when I hear guys saying, you know, I don't want to play this long, and because I know that when you don't empty it all and you end up leaving it on the table, that these guys, they end up wanting to come back. Now, I can appreciate SGA not wanting to stay too long. That part I definitely can appreciate, Tone, because I've seen guys that hung around longer than they should have, and it sounds to me like SGA doesn't want to overstay his welcome, right? I'm not going to be out here when I can't play anymore just hanging on, just because I want to still be in the game. No, I can definitely appreciate that. But the idea of not playing into my 40s, or not playing into my 40s, but more like not playing past when I'm still able to play. Because again, Curry is going to be 38. Curry's still arguably a top 10 player in the game. If you walking away at 35 years old, if you walking away at 32 years old, injury free, and you don't want to play anymore, and you content with that, then I'm good with that. I take no issue with that whatsoever. But I don't want a guy to end up leaving when there's still, for lack of a better term, meat on the bone. I don't want to see that off the strength that a guy, you know what, I just don't want to play. Because I saw it with Barry Sanders.
That's exactly what I was going to bring up. Are you upset at Barry Sanders?
Yes, because I think if Barry Sanders was in a different situation, he wouldn't have quit. I think he would have kept playing.
He didn't quit. He didn't quit. He retired. There's a difference. There's a difference.
I don't want to play anymore. People
Yeah,
quit their jobs every day, Tone.
he retired.
People quit their jobs. People.
Well, no.
People quit
Quit
jobs
means I
every
don't want
day.
to play. Quit means I don't want to work here anymore, and you quit and go work somewhere else. Retire is I'm done. I'm not doing this ever again. So there is a difference. There's a difference. There's a difference. I'm just saying. Quit sounds very negative. Quit sounds very negative. Now,
I think
he did have a reason though too, right? Other than Detroit being bad, he also said, "I have so much respect for Walter Payton. I don't want to break his record because he's the greatest running back of all time."
And I can appreciate that. Sure.
So there was a level of respect where he's like, "I'm done. I'm not going to listen." If Detroit was a Super Bowl contending team, let's be honest, he's not
He
retired.
would not have quit.
So he's like, so it was kind of a perfect storm where it was like, okay, this team sucks. We're not winning a Super. I think I said World Series. We're not winning a Super Bowl. If I said World Series, I apologize. We're not winning a Super Bowl. You know what? I don't want to be that guy. I don't need to just play until I beat the record and he walked away. I respect that versus a guy who, knows he's done and then still, collects a paycheck. And I'm not picking on Hakeem Olajuwon in Toronto, but he knew he was done. He knew he was done.
Tony, if I told you, I don't think I watched one game of him up in Toronto. I
don't think you played one game.
Yeah, I don't think I saw him play one. And Vince Carter was up there during that time. I don't think I saw Olajuwon play one game up there in Toronto. If I'm thinking back on it, but I say that to say we hear the term quit and it sounds weak, when in reality,
quit has a negative connotation. Like if you look up quit in the dictionary, it will say cease to do something typically because of failure or inability to do it. Typically, there is negative. Well, it doesn't always have to be. It doesn't have to be negative if you're walking away from the game.
I don't think so. But I think that I think that with SGA, he's already won an NBA championship. Okay, after this contract is up, I got enough money for not only this little dude, but if I have any more children, I got enough money for myself. I got enough money for these guys and the people that come after them. I don't have to do this for money anymore. Like plus,
these guys now make generational wealth.
Away, and I think SGA is 26. I can walk away 10 years from now at 35 years old, and I've made $500 million, and my legacy is cemented, and I don't have to play basketball no more. But I want you to walk away from the game when you know it's time to walk away from the game. Not somebody's pushing you out, not just because, well, I want to see my son grow up. Okay. If you want to see your son grow up, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. But you knew what this was when you got into it as a professional.
Well, hold on. You thought you knew what it was when you got into it. Hold on, and then once you have kids, yes. When you have a kid, you change, and your priorities change.
Yes, they do.
And so he may have thought he knew what he was getting into, and then he had a kid, and he was like, I'm missing a lot. I'm missing first steps, first words, first days of school. Like I'm missing a lot. And I'm like, it's not worth it to me. I think that's a 1,000% reasonable thing to say. I've got $500 million in the bank. And instead of putting my body on the line and traveling, for 8 months out of the year, I'm going to go be a dad. 1,000,000%. I have no issue with that at all. But that's 100% a legitimate reason.
Even if that's true, Tony,
he's an MVP. He's a champ. He's done it all. He doesn't need.
So quit now. Then you've done everything. Your little man's gonna grow up, right? I'm 26 years. I'm 26 years old. He probably did miss his first steps. So when he has another kid, he's gonna miss that again. So in the next 2 years, if they have another baby, and I'm gonna miss that again, which means that I'm going to miss the first day of school. I probably won't be around. He probably will be around for the first day of school because season doesn't start until October.
Okay.
The season not starting until with the season. I am there for the first day of school. I am there in the summertime, right? Not only am I there in the summertime, I am there for the first day of school. So I'm there for a lot of stuff. When the season starts, she knows as my wife, which he is married, by the way. Like this isn't some chick that he just messing around with.
Yeah.
He is married. Yeah, he is married. So with that being said, they know what they're signing up for. Tone, I can appreciate the idea that circumstances change and, I see stuff different. I got this little man that he's growing up. He's starting to talk and I want to be around him more. Okay, but my job affords us what we have right now. Everything that we have, my job is the reason why we have that.
100%.
So with that being, with that being said, right? So with that being said, I can't. I've always stood on this logic. You can't have everything because you're gonna have to give something up. So if you want to be that guy who I want to see my kids raised, I want to be around my kids more. I want to see the first day of school. Yeah. I want to see my sons.
Right. I want to come up to school. I want to join the PTA.
If I want to do that, if I want to do that, I can't do this much longer because
and that's what he's saying. And that's what he's saying.
And if you want to do that, then we have to accept the fact that I can't do this much longer. I'm comfortable with that right there, Tone. But don't tell me that you want to see your kids raised, but you play 17 years in the league. Well, don't tell me that you want to be around your kids.
Right. Yeah.
Don't tell me that you want to be around your kids and you want to see your kids grow up, but you played 18 years in the NBA. Nah, don't tell me that.
Maybe he just wants to enjoy them through the good years, that 10 through like 13 before they became jerks.
You know how that goes.
And you got to be careful too. You got to be careful though too, because this is why I don't like what he said. I almost feel like just say nothing, right? Just be like, yeah, I love playing basketball. I love my family, and I want to balance both. And the reason I say that is it's very, very famous quote, and you know it once I say it.
Right.
I don't want to play 10 years in the NBA and die of a heart attack at 40. Do you know who said that?
I want to play.
I don't want to play 10 years in the NBA and die of a heart attack at 40.
I don't know who said that. No.
Pete Maravich said that.
And died at 38.
No. He played 10 years in the NBA and died at 40.
I thought he was 38 when he passed away, but okay.
No, he was 40. It was 19. Yeah, and it's like he died in 1988. I think he was playing like a church pickup game in Pasadena. But it's like I know I don't believe in this, but I believe in this. I don't want you to put that stuff out into the universe. I don't want you to put that up. Say nothing. Say nothing. It's bad juju. I don't know what you call it. I don't like it.
Don't speak that into existence.
Don't people speak into existence all the time. So that's all I'm saying. All right, we're gonna stick with SGA. His quote: "I pick up a basketball to be the best. If you're asking me if I want to be better than Kobe, of course I do. Whether I get there or not, we'll find out." SGA. I feel like there should be a basketball in his hand in this picture, but there isn't. Does that look weird to you? It looks really weird to me. It's like
it does.
They erased the ball. So listen, he wants to be better than Kobe.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with that.
Jordan.
Jordan wanted to be better than Doc. Doc wanted to be better than Baylor. Like isn't that what you're supposed to want?
Not only that, the scrutiny that came with it. Like we had growing up, like Kobe Bryant caught a lot of flack for saying that, I'm better than this dude. I want to be better than this dude. He got a lot of flack for that. Even though he worked his tail off to become a great ball player, he worked his tail off to become one of the best ball players in the game. With that being said, if this guy tells me that he wants to be better than Kobe Bryant, I have no problem whatsoever with him saying that. I got no problem with, because this is for him, right? For him, this is the standard, right? For him, this is the standard for what greatness is, right? For what greatness is. I never said that. I challenge you.
I want to be clear. Okay,
I challenge you. Here's what I'm going to do.
I just wanted to. Okay.
Here's what I'm going to do right here. I am putting in the link for you right now. I challenge you to come up here and prove that I said that. I dare you. You in particular. You said you will expose me.
Ready.
Come up here and I said that SGA is better than Kobe Bryant. I challenge you right here, right now, on our show. Come up here and prove that I said that. You said you got the tape. You said you will expose me. Come up here and show everybody that I said SGA is better than Kobe Bryant.
Adam Silver has a season to get ready for, and we have a super chat. So let's jump into the super chat. Lee says Kobe would respect SGA's mindset of being better than him. Rest in peace.
Absolutely, just like Jordan.
I think 100%. Yeah.
Just like Jordan.
I think the reason Jordan respected Kobe so much and they became like, big brother, little brother, was he's like, not only did he say, I want to be better than you, but like, he's like, he worked hard, but also said, how can I be better than you? And asked him a bunch of, like, remember the story, like Jordan used to tell these stories where he would like 3 o'clock in the morning be like, hey, I'm working on this. Like,
calling me at 3 o'clock in the morning. Really? This dude
but you have to, as much as it might drive you crazy, it's like, you have to respect. You have to respect it. So yeah, I think Kobe would absolutely. I actually think, and I know this is coming out of left field, but I know you love this player, and I think Tatum would have been better if Kobe was still alive.
I think he would have been too, to be honest with you, Tom, because I think that one, he would have got with him. I think he would have got with him more in the offseason. I think he would have polished his game more. I think he would have, even though the system that they run in Boston is very much at the long ball line, I think that he would have honed a lot more of his other skills. I think he would have put that dog more in him than it already is. Because contrary to popular belief, as much as you dudes talk about being dogs, we all need a Boudini Brown, right? That's who Muhammad Ali's hype. We all need that dude. You, Tone, you the baddest motherfucker on the planet. You are the man. Ain't nobody better than you. We all need that from time to time. Every last one of us. Every last one of us need that. None of us is walking around here just automatically thinking that we the best. Every last one of us, as much as Russell Westbrook says he doesn't care, there's somebody in Russ' ear telling him you the baddest mother, you know what, on this planet. Somebody is telling him that. That's why he's going out there and doing what he's doing. So I think that if Bryant was still alive, if he was still here today, I think that 100% would have benefited Jason Tatum. I think it would have benefited a lot of these guys, to be quite honest with you.
Because I think he, as where he was in his life, as much as he was working with Gigi and the girls team, I think where he was in his life, it was like, it's time to pass on that knowledge. And you saw a lighter side of him, but still a side that was like now becoming that mentor that, you know, if you would have asked me, 5 years before he retired, I'd be like, ain't no way. Someone comes up and asks him a question, he's gonna punch him in the face. He'd be like, get out of here, leave me alone. But I'm like, no, I think he turned into that. I want to be that mentor. I think the dad, being especially a girl dad, I think changed him. Yeah. And it taught him how much he had to share with people. So and not having a son, maybe that's the one that he takes under his wing
and working with the guys that he was working with in the offseason, it was almost like watching him, it felt like he owed. And I got to give this because somebody gave it to me. So I can't just hold on to this. I owe this to you because somebody gave it to me. Somebody showed me the ropes. So I owe you. And I don't like to use the word. I don't like to use the word oh. I don't like to use the word deserve. But that's kind of the vibe that I got from him. That, I owe this. Because I wouldn't be who I was without Gary Payton. I wouldn't be who I was without Jordan. I wouldn't be who I was without these guys. So I
think it took him retiring to realize these guys did it while I was playing. I didn't do it in my 20-year career. I didn't really do it while I was playing. So to your point, I don't like that word either, but I owe it to the game, right? Not to the people. I owe it to the game to pass that along. So
I can tell you right now, Tone, I'm certain if I'm playing in the NBA during that time and he would have came to me and asked me, I wouldn't have gave him anything because I'm like, I'm not helping you kick my ass. I'm not.
Fair enough.
I'm not going to help you kick my ass. So even though I owe, even though I 100% would, but I'm not helping you kick my ass. No. Mm-mm.
That's fair. That's fair. There's a player that I think we talked about a little bit earlier. I said could be he's if healthy. Mm-hmm. Well, actually, let me start. Let me start with the player. Let me actually start with the coach first for a second because it'll speak to the team's expectations. So Jason Kidd has signed a multi-year contract extension with the Dallas Mavericks. And I think the reason for it is you can't have what we call a lame duck coach who doesn't have a contract if you're have championship expectations. I think the Dallas Mavericks have championship expectations. Now, it worries me because if he's not the right guy to get them to that championship, and now you've signed him to a long-term deal, it makes it tougher to get rid of him, and now you're paying two coaches, and we've seen that happen multiple times. Or does he become complacent? Oh, I got my money, just like a player. He was a former player too. Hey, I got my money. I don't need to. But I get it. You got to solidify the coach because this team has championship expectations. One of the main reasons they have championship expectations is this guy, Anthony Davis, who, listen, I typically would say it's a preseason game. And I wanted to say it earlier when we talked about Wemby, how he's looked in the preseason. I'm like, it's preseason. And we're going to talk about some more stats in a minute. And I'm going to say it's preseason. It means nothing. But this roster is built to win. So combine the Jason Kidd extension and what you're seeing from Anthony Davis in the preseason. How far can this Dallas Mavericks team go?
Well, two things. Number one, Tone, when you trade Luka and you trade Luka for Anthony Davis and you put this crew together, the idea is to win the NBA championship, because that's why you trading Luka. You trading Luka because you're looking at him going, we ain't winning with him.
Yeah.
We're not winning with him. So what we're going to do is we're going to change our style of play. All right. So with us changing our style of play, we start by now centering our style of play around a big man who is a defender who can score. That's Anthony Davis. So in the process of us doing that, Jason Kidd, who we extend him, he's also a great, not only point guard, but a great defender. So I think that this team is going to be predicated on that. It's 3 teams in the Western Conference that I have that I think are championship level teams. That's Oklahoma City, that's Denver, and that's Dallas. I think those are the 3 teams that I think I could see come out of the Western Conference. And
can I pause you there for a second? I got to ask you, Stuart, and this isn't the Laker fan in me. This is a basketball question.
Mm-hmm.
You got arguably two top 10 players. I don't think many people will argue that LeBron and Luka are both top 10 players in the league. How can you have 2 top 10 players in today's NBA where no other team has that and not be a legit contender for a championship?
I don't think
how bad is your roster? How bad is your coach that you're not even considered a championship contending team with 2 top 10 players?
Because the top 10 players that you have, the other one, to your point, Tone, you bring this up all the time. We are measuring him as what he used to be, not relative to what the league is. That's how we looking at him. We're not looking at him comparative to the rest of the guys in the league. No, we're looking at him like LeBron James from 2009, like the dude that was on fast forward and everybody else was on regular speed. That dude, the dude in 2013 that looked like the best player ever to play, the dude in 2018. That's who we're comparing LeBron James to today. So when we get to the NBA championship, if that even happens, when we get there, we are expecting him to be that. Tone, do you remember in 1989, we wasn't looking at Jabbar like that. We weren't looking at Malone like this. Like these older players, we didn't look at them like that. We hold James to the standard of championships.
If I may say, in 89, we didn't see Jabbar wasn't that same guy, not even close. But not only was he not the same guy he was 10 years ago, if you look at the league, he wasn't a top 10 player in the NBA in 89.
I don't think so.
He wasn't. So, whereas in this case, say what you want about the player or the league or whatever, he is.
That's fair. But with that being said, to everything that you just said, because he is still a top 10 player, the difference is are we winning the NBA championship with James being a top 10 player, or are we winning the NBA championship with James being the best player? Because that's the dude that we remember.
You need if you're winning a championship, you have to have LeBron as a top 10 player and Luke as a top 5 player. They have
now
to
see,
that's how they have to
and it's that part right there, Tone, that you just said. We need Luka. I mean, we need Luka to be the best player, but we're not going to look at James as being a top 10 player, because when we seen him in the NBA Finals and we seen him in the championship series, he was the best player in the series. And with him being the best player in the series, that's the standard that he's held to. And I don't think that he can play not the background, because I've seen him play off the ball. I've seen him play behind Kyrie Irving, and I've seen him let Kyrie Irving get busy. I just think that when we get that late in the season, Tone, physically, I just don't think that he still has that in order to get to the NBA, because there's a level. Tone, you've been around the game. There's a level that you have to go to when we went in the first round to get to the semifinals, and then when we get to the semifinals to get to the Western Conference Championship, and then when we get to the Western Conference Championship to get to the NBA Championship, and then from getting to the NBA Championship to winning it, there's a level that I have to play at every round. Can James still do that, being James? Because again, Tone, he doesn't know how to be anybody else. He doesn't know how to do anything else except be James like that. He doesn't know. So Luka does know.
Better figure it out.
Luka knows how to be that guy. So,
all right, you better figure it out. So speaking of old guys who are playing a lot of years, Steph Curry is set to become the 10th player ever, only the 10th,
it.
To play 17 or more seasons with one team. Is this news? Not news? And part 2 of this, I'll save it. I'll save part 2. So is that it's impressive, but does it mean anything?
I think it means
Udonis Haslem did it. He's one of the 10. Does that mean anything?
Yes, I do think it. Well, first of all, Tone, to play that long. I mean, the average pro career is 4 years. I mean, to play 17.
Okay. But on the list, mostly greats, right? Dirk.
Yes.
Kobe.
Bryant, sure. Dirk. I mean, 17 years to play that long with one franchise.
And then you also have Haslem, right? Like, so a lesser player. So does it mean anything, or does it not mean anything?
I think it means a lot, Tone, especially for a guy of Steph Curry's caliber. 2, in the time that we live in, where guys are exercising free agency and going to play other places. And with guys going to play other places, Steph Curry could have very well been somewhere else. And the fact that he stayed with the Golden State Warriors for this amount of time and been this good for this long. I mean, he's 37 years old, and we still talking about him being a top 10 player on that Golden State Warriors team. We've seen the ups, we've seen the downs, we've seen him level off, we've seen him go back up again, we've seen this. And for him to stay there for as long as he stayed there and be the best player in the history of that franchise, this is a franchise that had Chris Mullin. It's a franchise that had Chamberlain, right? It's a franchise that had Rick Barry. It's a big deal for him to be around for that long.
Of the players who played 17 years with one team, he'll only be the 7th to only play with one team if he doesn't leave the Warriors, which I don't think he will. The other are Dirk, as we mentioned, with the Mavs, Kobe with the Lakers, Haslem with the Heat, Jimmy with the Spurs, Stockton with the Jazz, and Reggie Miller with the Pacers. So those are the only 6 who played 21, 20, 20, 19, 19, 18, respectively, and never played for another franchise. The other 3 who played 17 years played in other franchises as well. So I don't know. I see people saying it's not news. I see it is news. I
think it's a huge deal. I mean, there's a statue of John Stockton outside the arena. There's a statue of Karl Malone outside the arena, even though he didn't play he played that last year with the Lakers, but he played 19 years with the Jazz. I mean, Reggie Miller is the best player in the history, right? The best player in the history of the Indiana Pacers organization. He's the best player that they've ever had, right? So, I mean, when he's getting
a statue, right?
I definitely think that. Yes, I definitely think that. Adam Silver, you ain't allowed in here anymore until you come up here and show us the tape of me saying that what you said. You ain't allowed to say nothing else. So we getting rid of your comments.
Leave those guys alone. Droopy balls and
yeah, we getting rid of your comments because what you're not going to do is you're not going to lie about me. No,
yeah, that's fine. It's fine. No. So that being said, statue outside already. I think of Curry, and I'm okay with that. You know, I don't love those things, but I'm okay with that. As long as you don't retire his number. I was told that this is the part 3. I don't know when part 2 was, to be honest with you, but I was told this was part 3 of the Golden State Warriors dynasty.
Yeah.
Is this a last hoorah with Steph and Butler, and could they make a run? When they say dynasty, people throw around the term dynasty. I'm like, no, you got to win.
They do, Tony. They throw that term around really loosely. They do. Are they
too old? Is it too late? Can the Warriors have a dynasty?
Well, Draymond told us last year that this is probably the last chance that we have, but then we see him in the summertime saying that we win an NBA championship next year. There has to be a level of delusion when you are at that level that you think.
Well, that's Draymond though. I think there's always been a level of delusion.
Yeah, there has to be a level of delusion. But Tone, if I think about the oldest team in the league, right? I remember when the Bulls was doing it, they were the oldest team in the league, and they were going up against the Jazz. They were the second oldest team in the league. We don't live in that time anymore. We just saw the NBA champion, Oklahoma City Thunder. They were the youngest team in NBA history to win the NBA championship, right? So this Celtics team that won it in 24, They were one of the youngest teams. When in 22, they went to the NBA championship, one of the youngest teams. That's what's going on today. We got young teams. This core with the Golden State Warriors with Curry, 37 years old, going to be 38 by the time the playoffs start. Jimmy Butler turned 36 years old. Draymond, 36 years old. Al Horford, 39 years old. This is the core of your group, right? This is the core of your group with a bunch of other young guys. I'm not going to argue that, but they heavily rely on Steph Curry. Steph Curry didn't get hurt in the playoffs in last season because somebody hurt him. He got hurt because he's old. He broke down because he's old. That's the problem. Jimmy Butler, if Jimmy Butler 5 years ago fell on his tailbone like that, Jimmy Butler probably would have bounced up and been able to just get right back to it. I think so.
You okay?
I don't think that it would have been an issue.
Oh, I forgot to mute. My bad.
I don't think it would have been an issue as much if Jimmy Butler fell like he fell 5 years ago. I think he would have gotten back up, and I think he would have been good. 5 years later, like getting hit like that, falling like that is way different than it is today. Way different. So
those old brittle bones.
Them old dudes, I just think it's different. That's why I feel the way I feel about James. That's why I feel the way I do about this Golden State Warriors. Core, I mean, this league is a young man's league. It's not like it was 10, 15 years ago when these guys were winning and they had vets like this. Nah, you can have vets, Tone, but you can't have old guys.
But it is cyclical. And it did go from a young man's league to old man's league to a young man's league. There's not to say, like, and when you look at
when did that happen, Tone?
I feel like it's gone from a young man's league to old man's league to a young man's league again. I think there were, when you had the young Spurs, and then you had the young Cavs going to the final, and the old Spurs, and then you had the young Warriors, right? And it was a young man's league, and it's been a young man's league for a while. I think it could turn. I think it could turn. And
they did add young guys to their core.
When we say an old team, you need a sprinkling of young guys around, but
yes.
I think it could be led by. I think an older led team could do some damage, and so they need some things to fall together. Listen, they've got Draymond, their core, right, which is Draymond, Curry, and Butler, and those guys are old, but they'll need Kuminga to step up. They'll need, Seth and Peyton, and they'll need those other guys to do post. They'll need some post play from post. Like they'll need some of the younger guys to step up. But I think that's expected. I want to address this really quick because I saw it and it's an interesting question. I think it's Kemba Walker, and it's not even a debate. Like I think he leads in more overall stats. I think the impact he had on the Hornets. Like I don't think it is. Am I?
No, you're not.
Okay.
To be honest with you, I think about how good Larry Johnson was. I think about how good Glenn Rice was. No, it's Kemba Walker.
Yeah,
and I don't think it's a question of who
else. Like if you look at impact and statistically both sides of the thing, I think it's Kemba. I don't even know what's next, so I'm just going to pull it up and see what it is and then start talking about it. Let's just be honest. What's this? Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard always making news, and not just from sliding into trans women's DMs. Dwight Howard thinks a healthy Joel Embiid is the only center. Gotcha. Is the only center who can take on prime Shaq. He says, I felt like if he had stayed healthy, he would probably be the only player at the time who I could see giving Shaq problems if he was playing Shaq one-on-one. That's not what we play in the NBA. But I disagree with that whole entire statement, but I'll let you address it first.
I think that he could have given Shaq a little bit of trouble. I mean, he was able to knock down the mid-range. I think he was able to knock down the long ball. The fact that, he could play on the perimeter. I mean, I think that he could give Shaq a little bit of trouble in that aspect. But I think Shaq could also handle the basketball as a big. Not only could he handle the basketball as a big, he did big man things. And I think he would have outdone big man things against Joel Embiid that Joel Embiid doesn't do. Like Joel Embiid, Shaq is a very physical big. That's who Shaq is. Shaq learned how to play the big man spot because of the guys before him. And I think that Joel Embiid, even when he was healthy, never had to see a guy that physical in Shaq, bowing, pushing, being as physical as he possibly could with him. And I think that that would have wore Joel Embiid down. Would Joel Embiid have given Shaq some trouble? I think he could have given Shaq some trouble with that mid-range. Yes. And Shaq wasn't great in pick and roll. Shaq had a really difficult time because John Stockton and Karl Malone would expose that from him on a regular. With that being said, though, Tone, I also think that he had some advantages too. And I think the physicality of who he is, I think he would have straight roughed up. I think he would have roughed up Joel Embiid, especially the way I saw him rough up Dikembe Mutombo. Yes, I think he would have roughed up Joel Embiid, and I think that would have ultimately crumbled him.
I think when Joel Embiid's at his worst is when he, sets up shop outside of the paint.
Mm-hmm.
And if he was playing against Shaq, that's what he would do. So he'd be at his worst. I don't think he had the mentality to go in there and bang with him or the physicality. He's a big guy, but he's not. I don't think people see him as a strong guy, and there's a difference. So yeah, I think he'd get physically handled on the defensive end, and I think he would be at his worst. Not to say bad. Let's be very clear, because he has a nice mid range and he can hit the outside shot. But I think he's at his worst when he plays outside. So he's going to get beat up on one end, and then he's going to be at his worst when he's playing out there in the mid range. So yeah, so I disagree with Dwight Howard. I think they said they kissed and made up, but I think he's still just. I think he still just has a beef with
axe to grind. He might still have an axe to grind with Shaq.
I think he does. Your guy.
Oh my goodness.
Your guy, the Miami Heat. Say his name because I'll say it wrong. Khalil Ware. I know it's not Ware. I can say Khalil Ware. 24-10, 9 of 17, 2 of 4 from 3, 4 of 4, 25 minutes. And you know what I'm going to say? It means nothing. But go ahead. Talk your talk. It's a preseason.
I know how you feel about the preseason, Tone. I don't really watch a lot of preseason games neither. I don't. I'd be lying if I said I did. It's very much like football. I don't really watch a lot of preseason stuff. However, Tone, we get wrapped up a lot of times with free agency, making moves in free agency, trading for guys. We get wrapped up in that stuff all the time. When in reality, what you really need is right here. You got it right here. Develop it. And this kid, Khalil Ware, is exactly what they needed. Exactly what they needed. Miami, I think I said this earlier, Tony. I don't know if you heard me say this earlier, but Miami has hit a couple of times on these middle first rounders. Tyler Hero was late he was late in the lottery, close to the middle of the second. Not the middle. I'm sorry. He was 13. So right off next to the lottery, close to the middle of the first round. Same thing with Bam. Bam was in the middle of the first round. They got him at 14. They got this kid Khalil Ware. I think he was 14 or 15, between 14 and 16. And what Eric Spoelstra has done with this kid is nothing short of fantastic. The one thing that he did was taught him how to be a professional. Show up on time, do your job, be where you're supposed to be. That's what he taught him how to do. When I do that, Tone, I think the rest of the stuff, because the talent is clearly there, I think the rest of the stuff just falls into place. I'm watching this kid get on the glass. I'm looking for the motor when I see this kid. And I look at this Miami Heat team, I think he's exactly what they need, because now I get to move Bam to the 4. I get the rebounder that I'm looking for. I get the rim protector. I get the finisher around the rim. Not only do I get the finisher around the rim, I also get the perimeter defender who I that's some stuff that he needs to work on because he's a little deficient in that. But I think that's something that we could work on where he could be solid at that. I don't think I'm getting Bam or Evan Mobley or something like that. No, I'm not saying that I'm getting that. But what I think I am getting, Tone, is I think I'm getting a player who I can build my unit around moving forward. And I think this is our franchise. I think this is our franchise big. Bam is our franchise 4. I think we got our small forward in Andrew Wiggins. You got your 2 guard in Tyler Hero. All you need is now a lead guard, and I think they could really challenge for the Eastern
Conference. I think Hero's hurt right now, though, right? Is he still?
Word on the street is, Tone, is that he might be available for opening night. I don't know how true that is because, but that's the word on the street is that he may be available for opening night. We'll see about that.
I think you want Ware to be that guy because you've been screaming since, I don't know, as long as I can remember, that Bam needs to be the 4. And if they have a starting center, a serviceable center, a good center, he gets to be at that 4 position, which I think we all agree is he's more natural to play. And I'm not saying Ware's a bad player or he's not going to be good. I'm not going to go off one game in the preseason and say he's there. Nice. Good stat line. Looked good. Awesome. Let's see it night in and night out.
Yep.
And see where it goes.
Well, here's the thing, though, Tone, and I can appreciate your skepticism of this kid because, again, he's a kid and unproven.
Just remember, they were not this. Look, not the same skill set. A million other things are different, but remember, a bunch of people. Whiteside. Oh, he's gonna be the shot blocking king of the world, and blah 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 blah. How'd that pan out?
It didn't. It didn't. But I'm watching this kid, Tone, and what he reminds me of. I see a better version of Jared Allen. What I'm looking for when I look at a big guy, right? What I'm looking for when I look at a big guy is I'm looking for you to do big guy things. That's what I'm looking for more than anything, right? I can appreciate the throwing the ball between the legs, the hezzy tween, the step backs, and the shoot. But do you do big guy stuff? Just like a point guard. I can appreciate you being able to score the basketball at a high rate. I can appreciate you being able to get to the rim. But do you do lead guard stuff?
Right.
And this kid, Khalil Ware, he does big guy things. He gets on the glass. He rebounds. He protects the rim. He runs the floor. It's stuff like that. Right, it's stuff like that I watch that I'm thinking to myself, we can get the other stuff in this game because I think the talent is there, right? And with the talent being there, I think sky's the limit for this kid. And I know that I've said in the past, Tone, that I want Bam to move to the 4. Now I got Bam at the 4. With Bam being at the 4, and I think he's going to be more productive. It's not that I need this kid to be that. I think he's going to be that.
Yeah.
Because I see it. It's not that. Kind of like what Wemby, like you need Wemby to be the defensive player of the year so you can be right. You need Wemby to be the league MVP so you guys can be right about him. No, I ain't looking at it like that. I think this kid is going to be that because I see the vision of who he is.
All right. We're going to get to our NBA award picks, but first, Tri-State jumped on. So let's, I don't know if you know who this is, but
I don't. What up?
What's going on?
Good evening, gentlemen. How y'all doing?
Good. What's going on, brother?
No, man. Yeah, that Khalil Ware stuff, man. He's an enigma, man. This kid is special for real. The talent is there, and then the Nikola Jovic factor too, man. That he's slowly developing. He's coming along, but Miami in a wide open Eastern Conference this year, because the East is like I can't recall the last time the East was this wide open. Where it's like
wide open though.
I really do.
Uncompetitive, like it's going to be competitive.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think with the exception of Cleveland and New York, there's a lot of opportunity at the top of the East. Yeah,
I think Orlando's interesting. Detroit's interesting. Milwaukee's interesting. Miami's interesting. There's a lot of East is going to be real nice to watch how that unfolds this year.
Don't sleep on Atlanta. You didn't say Atlanta. Don't
sleep Atlanta as well. Absolutely. I can't forget Atlanta. I like their offseason moves.
This season right here, has the door flown open in the Eastern Conference like it did when James left in 18?
Yes.
Kind of. Low key, yeah.
Interesting. Because I think about when I think about when James left in 18, we all knew that the road to the NBA championship, you got to go through Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go through Cleveland. Now James is gone. Okay, who wants to go to the NBA Finals now? It's not, okay, this team is going. It's more like who wants to go? Who's interested in going to the NBA championship now that he's gone?
Mm-hmm.
Well, when I think about the Eastern Conference today, I think Cleveland's the team to beat in the East. But I'm thinking about the other teams in the East, like the Knicks. I got the issue that I have with the Knicks, and I'll pose this question to not just you, Tribe, but also to you, Tone. And I asked this question earlier to the fellas. Tone, when's the last time you've seen a team where your 2 best players were this bad on defense?
This bad on defense?
This bad on defense.
You're saying the two best players.
Yeah,
My first thought was the Suns with Steve Nash and Amari Stoudemire.
They didn't win the NBA championship.
Win.
Oh, you're talking about a championship winner. Okay.
Winning the NBA championship.
Saying, when was a team with their two best players this bad that won an NBA championship? That's the
NBA championship.
Yeah. Oh.
There's been some really good teams that have gone deep, but I don't think ever.
Now the team that I got, the team that I was told to, it was the Denver Nuggets with both Jamal Murray and Jokic.
And Jokic, yeah.
Well, the thing I'm thinking about is, one, Jamal Murray isn't as bad a defender as Jalen Brunson. I don't think so. And even with these guys being that bad, there was a level that they had to go to offensively. So we remember what Jamal Murray was
to neutralize it.
Yeah, but right? Jamal Murray had to I think average 5 or 6 more points per game than he's.
We were talking about Jamal Murray being a top 10 league guard in the game, like at that point, and we were also talking about Joker.
Okay. But I will, if I may jump in though, if I will say the Knicks are set up similarly, not the same, similarly to the Nuggets in the sense that although Murray and Jokic obviously aren't good defenders, and they're going to have to carry, and they had to carry the offensive load, much like Cat and Brunson. Yep. They do have, if you remember, that Nuggets team had guys like, Bruce Brown and Christian Brown and other defensive guys. Sure. And the Knicks have that too with Bridges, with OG. Like, so they have the defense around them. They had to protect them. So it might be, that's a good, because if they didn't have those guys, then I'd be like, no chance. But
with that being said, though, Tony, and you left something very important out. They do have the guys to protect them, but do you remember in 23 the level that Joker was playing at offensively?
Yeah. There's
we talking about him being the best offensive player in NBA history. Can Cat do that?
Insane.
Are we at?
No.
Cat get to that?
No. But Brunson is better than. I think Brunson will do more offensively than Murray, but yes, Cat will not be on.
You remember what Jamal Murray was doing in them playoffs in 23 zone? I mean, he was otherworldly.
He was ridiculous.
He was otherworldly. So that's the level that they had to get to. As bad as bad a defender as these guys was, that was the level that they had to get to in order to win it. So this New York Knicks team with these two guys, as bad as they are defensively, this is the level that they have to get to offensively to raise their game. Can they do that?
Well, hold on. Can they do that? Or no, do they have to do that in this East? No, I don't think they do.
To win the whole thing, Tony.
They have to be better, but no, to win the whole thing, okay, fair. Yeah, fair. Yeah. It's not a bad thing. Yeah. All right, Tri-State, appreciate. Oh, sorry, anything else?
I was just gonna say, my dark horse candidate obviously emphasizing to win MVP this year is Paolo Banchero. Dark horse candidate. That
would have to be some season.
Yep. I think it might happen. I got a weird feeling about Orlando this year. I think Orlando and Detroit are primed to have breakout years.
Orlando would have to be a top 2 seed because the narrative isn't there for him to win it yet because he's so young. So he would have to do something like they'd have to win like 60 games.
If they're the second seed and they win in 60 games, and Paolo,
what about second seed at 55 and he's getting 28, 7 and 8?
Maybe 58.
Well, if he's a second seed at 5, if he's a second seed at 55 wins, then what do you think Denver's going to do?
In the West?
Yes. What do you think they're going to do? Because I think Denver's winning anywhere between 55, 60 games this year.
See, the West is real interesting too as well. Like me as a Laker fan, real quick, I gotta say, the whole DeAndre Ayton quote about him, Luka, and LeBron not practicing together. I think I'm reading between the lines. I think the Lakers are going to make a trade before the season starts. I think they might.
Well, the season starts trade Ayton. Yeah, the season starts next week.
They should trade Ayton.
They ain't trading nobody. That's not happening.
They should trade Ayton.
Well, them not practicing isn't a good thing. The West is also interesting as well. I think the West is Denver. I think Denver will be a top 3 seed.
If Jokic puts up numbers like last year and they win 58, 59 games.
Bruce Brown going back to Denver was one of the most underrated moves of the offseason to me, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
him going back there, I like that move. And going back to the Knicks, I really like them picking up Jordan Clarkson to be that spark off the bench offensively. He just got to come in, like my dad used to tell me about Vinny Microwave Johnson for the Bad Boy Pistons. He's like, he just got to come in and get 15 real quick off the bench, get out of there.
And he's
come in, light it up real quick, give Brunson a quick breath.
On top of that, not just him, like you're not going to see what you saw last year with Tibbs, where 3 of your 5 starters are averaging 39 to 42 minutes.
That's absurd. Yeah, that's absurd. But all right, fellas, y'all have a
Bye,
good
y'all.
night. Good talking to
Yes,
y'all.
sir.
Appreciate you.
I forgot this one. I apologize because it's important. The Raptors could pay. This is old. The Raptors could pay Kawhi $190 million. The Clippers and Lakers could pay or offer $141 million. Was the $48 million no-show deal a coincidence?
No, it wasn't. I don't believe in coincidences, Tone. Again, I played professional basketball, hence the term professional. That's the word that's very important to mention, which means I do this for money. And if you're telling me that I'm leaving this kind of money on the table, this money needs to get made up. I'm not just doing this just to go home. No. How are we supplementing this? Why don't I just stay in Toronto? I'm not going to stay in Toronto just because it's cold. No, that's not why I'm not staying in Toronto. I'm not staying in Toronto.
You believe there was a quote in a Toronto, it was a newspaper, but probably online first, that he couldn't find gloves that were big enough to fit his hands.
Give me a break, because you know what? You couldn't find gloves in Toronto. We could ship you gloves. We can do that. That's not a big
custom make them gloves.
Yes, that's not a problem.
Yeah, just to quickly, they said they need a dirty work guy. Orlando. I don't know if this is Orlando or the Knicks. They need a dirty work guy and a shooter. And Aaron said that would be me and you. You'd be the dirty work guy. I could be the shooter. I'm good with that. Chill. You're from Waterworld and you go. I don't know what that means. And then Fluent. You good for 2 threes? Buddy. I'm good for more than 2 threes.
I ain't good for a layup. I can tell you that right now.
Get me
off the floor.
True. I saw you playing those guys at All-Star Weekend out on the basketball bus.
Get me off the floor. He killing us. Chill is killing us.
The link is up. We've got 10 minutes, but all right. I want to go through our NBA or your NBA awards. I think you guys did this on the other show, so I'm just curious because I also did it on NBA Max.
Mm-hmm.
MVP. Who is your MVP pick?
I think Shea is winning it again, Tone. I think Oklahoma City is going to have a really good season. I think they're going to be the best team in the Western Conference. I think Shea is coming back with a renewed confidence and vigor. I think he's going to just be so focused on being at the top again that I think he's winning the league MVP. It's either going to be him or I think it's going to be somebody that we're not talking about. And I think that somebody that we're not talking about is Anthony Davis. I know how you feel about the preseason, Tone. I can 100% get with that. No doubt about that. But I think that with putting Cooper Flag at the 1 and experimenting with him offensively, I think that this does nothing short of enhance Anthony Davis's game. I watched that game last night in Utah, and I can tell you right now, I don't like the 5 out, but I love Anthony Davis around the rim. I love Anthony Davis in the mid post. I love Anthony Davis in the mid range. I love him in transition, and I love how Cooper Flag is setting him up to get him shots. Now, I'm not saying that Cooper Flag is going to be a full-time lead guard because I think that's what D'Angelo Russell is there for. But I think that this team's going to be one of the best teams defensively. I think that Anthony Davis is going to be one of the better shot blockers and rim protectors in the game, one of the best defensive players in the game. So I think with all of that being said, with Dallas being a top 4 seed, I think he's definitely going to be in the conversation for league MVP this season.
I have a player who I feel will look rejuvenated. And when he has a love for the game, and he's playing with energy, defensively, offensively, when he's the clear-cut best player in his conference, and he doesn't have to go up against the best players in the NBA night in and night out because his conference, well, that's quite frankly, the best players are all hurt in his conference. I think Giannis has a really good shot at getting back. There's no voter fatigue. There's a narrative where he's a good guy. People like him. This Bucks team not expected to do a lot, but could easily be a top 4 seed in an open East. Again, it's not Anthony Davis has to go up against Jokic and Gobert, and and we know when he plays good centers, he does not play well. That's one thing we know fact. Whereas he's going to have to do that if that's where you're going to go. But Giannis, I think, has a team where he's going to have to score. which is important. He's gonna have to play defense. He is primed in the East, right? With no Tatum, with no he has an opportunity to where if this team is good, now they have to be good. If this team is good, I think he puts up a bunch of numbers, and playing with his brothers, they got both now, Alex and Thanasi. Like I think this, it's just set up for him to just take it. And no one's talking about him. He's not the favorite, but he's done it before. He knows what it takes. I think you're going to see a motivated Giannis to prove people. His wife's moved. You said she's moved to Greece, so there's no distractions from the wife and kids. It's just basketball. I don't. If there was ever a time for him to win another one, this is that time.
I think that we've taken Giannis for granted.
Yes,
that's what I think we've done more than anything. Like we don't even talk about in terms of the league MVP. We don't even talk about I don't think Milwaukee's going to be that good in order. I think that they're going to be good. I think they're going to be a playoff team. I don't think they're going to be that good, though, unfortunately, in order for him to win it. But the flip side to that is I still think I'm going to get 30, 10, and 6.
Yeah.
On like 55% and like 60% true shooting. I'm still going to get that.
What if they finished 3rd or 4th and he's putting up 30, 10, and 7?
If they finish top 3 in the Eastern Conference and he's giving me 30, 10, and 7, I dare you to keep it away from him. I dare you.
His roster, they're gonna say, who'd he do it with?
Yeah, I dare you to keep it away from him. Because if I'm thinking about them being the 3rd seed, Tone, that's going to be anywhere between 50 to 55 wins. And for him to do that on this team is better than I think people give them credit for, but I don't think that they're that good. So if he gets this team to between 50 to 55 wins and he's giving me 30, 10, and 7 on 55% from the floor and 60% true shooting, give me a break, Tone. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I dare you to keep it away from him. I dare you. What up?
Hello, can y'all hear me?
Yup. What up?
Chill. Guess who owns the AFC East now? Chill. Guess who owns it now? Guess who owns it now? Chill.
First place Patriots. What the hell is going on?
Number one, chill.
Just like I said, Mac Jones doesn't suck. Drake May doesn't suck. No, he does not.
Eat it, chill. You know you want to see Patriot dominance again. You know you want to see.
I am not going to see Patriot dominance.
I think that's taking it a little too far.
Yeah, I'm not going to see Patriot dominance. Not like I saw when y'all had the other guys. No. But this is definitely a surprise. I didn't think you guys would be this good. And I think that Mike Vrabel, he brought a different level of intensity into that group. I think your secondary has been way better than I thought they were going to be. Your cover guys, especially in terms of traveling, your cover guys have been a lot better than what I thought you were going to be. Your run defense is better, like your front four. I'm liking what I'm seeing from the Patriots. And like I said, Drake May doesn't suck.
He really doesn't, Bill. You seen these numbers he's putting up? He's top 5 in basically every single statistic, chill. When have we seen that from a Patriot quarterback? Huh?
With Tom Brady.
Yeah. Chill. Yeah. What happened to your 49ers, chill? Losing to the Bucks. What happened?
We're falling apart by the seams. We lost our 2 best interior defenders. We lost our best pass rusher, and we lost our best inside line, our best defensive player. On top of that, our wide receiving core is decimated. I mean, we're falling apart at the seams.
So that's what's going on. This is all injuries.
That's what's killing us. I had us winning 10 games this year. I'll be surprised if we win 7.
You know you're still atop the NFC West, right?
We're still undefeated in the division. Yes, we are. We're still undefeated in the division.
With all of that, you're still.
What about you, Fluent? How are your Bears doing? Any thoughts on Bears?
Hey, we talked about them to kick off the show. So yeah, no, look, I didn't expect anything from them, but to try and get better, and they're getting better. So let them. I'm going to let them develop, and we might actually have a quarterback who's going to last more than 3 seasons.
You think so with Caleb Williams?
Maybe.
I would, to be honest with you, Tone, I would actually like to see y'all have some stability at quarterback.
We've never since 1902. We've never had that. We still don't have a 4,000-yard passer. Like we've never, ever, ever had a just never.
Not since you've been a Bears fan, but period. Nobody
ever.
McMahon, Cutler.
When we were called the Tour Staleys, we did not.
I think you got your 4,000-yard passer this season, Fluent.
No, you think? But up until now, I'm saying we've never had one.
Oh, up until now,
we've never had one. We've never had a long-term solution at quarterback. Go back and look. Like it just doesn't.
But is this because you guys had different managers, or is this just like a curse at this point?
Recently it's been recently they draft a quarterback high with an existing coach. It doesn't work out, and then quickly they fire the GM and head coach. A new GM and head coach come in and say, well, that's not my quarterback. They ship him off, and then they draft another guy. Don't have immediate success, which is the problem because it never happens immediately. But they don't have immediate success. They get rid of the head coach and GM. They bring in a new GM and head coach. They go, well, that's not my guy. And it was basically like Trubisky, Fields, Williams. That's the exact thing that happened 3 times in a row. So when you look at another team in their division, went from Brett Favre for 100 years to Aaron Rodgers for 100 years to now looks like Jordan Love's going to be their guy for the next 10, 15 years. There's so much stability in coaching and GMs and quarterbacks just, right up the road that you can't be that. You cannot turn over GMs, coaches, and quarterbacks that fast. And think you'll ever be good. You'll never be good. You'll have a season, right? Like they had a great defensive season in 06, made it to the Super Bowl. They were flip-flopping between Rex Grossman and Kyle Orton. Kyle Orton. And in fact, Kyle Orton probably gives them a better chance in the second half to win that Super Bowl, but I digress. So it's just, you might have those blips, but there's never look at the teams that are great. Look at your team. Why were they great for 20 years? Well, because they had Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, and it was everything else we can figure out. We've never had that. Never had that.
Since you're on that subject, Tone, your man Caleb Williams, I was just doing the numbers. He averages 235.8 yards per game. Times that by 17 games, this is how many yards I get for the season.
I'm telling you, Fluid. I'm telling you, you got your 4,000 passing yards.
This is how many yards I get for the season.
Right this year, this guy breaks that curse. I'm telling you.
I'll take it. The real curse, what I've said is the real curse is we win the Super Bowl in '85, and they come in. The family comes in and says, we're a cold weather running defensive team. We shouldn't have cheerleaders. And they got rid of the Honey Bears. And we haven't won anything since.
I mean, at some point, Fluent, eventually, if you keep getting enough high draft picks and selecting quarterbacks, you're going to get a generational talent at some point.
Yeah, but we'd mess them up.
Oh, boy.
If we picked Patrick Mahomes,
you would have ruined them. Hold on. You would have wrecked them.
If I picked Patrick Mahomes, or they picked Patrick Mahomes instead of Mitch Trubisky, Mahomes would be on another team.
You would have wrecked them.
We would have wrecked them. He'd be on another team, and they'd be like, "Oh my God, he's actually," and hopefully they would have been like, "Oh my God, he's actually good," or we would have just ruined him.
Ruined him.
Who was your head coach at the time?
When we drafted Trubisky, it was that Canadian dude. I forget his name.
In 2018,
freshman maybe.
And your OC.
Oh, who knows, man? We went through so many. I can't remember.
Pat Mahomes showed up in 2018. You had Nagy.
Oh yeah, there you go. Matt Nagy and Ryan. What's his name was the GM. Yeah.
Yeah.
Know who these people. I mean, at some point, you're just going to get
the thing. See, they had a QB. They brought in Nagy and Ryan, the other Ryan. This is what's crazy about them. They had Ryan and Matt as their GM and coach, and they drafted him, and then they didn't
Mark Helfrich as your offensive coordinator.
They got rid. Hold on. They had Trubisky. They didn't win. They get rid of Matt and Ryan, and who did they bring in? Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus, another Matt and Ryan.
Oh my God!
And get rid of and then Fields, and it's just I can't.
I mean, it's not again like I said. At some point, eventually, you just keep cycling through coaches and players that eventually you just end up getting it right. Like right now, Ben Johnson, he was the best offensive coordinator last season, and now you got Caleb was the number 1 overall pick. He was consensus number 1 quarterback in the draft.
Yeah, sure, 100%.
Throwing darts at it until you eventually got it. And you guys haven't.
We'll see. Hey, listen, I'm cautiously optimistic.
Cautiously?
cautiously optimistic.
Oof. Jeez.
I don't want to listen. I don't want to put anything into I said it earlier. I don't want to put any bad juju into the
same. You guys are exactly the same. Cautiously optimistic.
Me and the Bears?
Y'all and Browns fans. Bears and Browns the same in terms of fandom.
Well, we've had more success than Browns fans, but hey, what do you call a guy? What do you call a guy? This is to both of you. What do you call a guy that says, "I'll get to you with a date and time for a debate next week," who doesn't message you for 8 months?
A flunky.
Yeah, you call him Matt the Chump. All right. Not even. Who cares? I got his name wrong.
Hi, Jay. Good to talk to you, brother.
Have a good one, guys.
Yep, good to talk to you.
I know. Over time, is there any other awards that you had like a crazy pick for?
Yeah, I got Amin Thompson as Defensive Player of the Year. Everybody has Wemby. I'm picking Amin Thompson.
I have Dyson Daniels. And the only reason I don't have Wemby is he has to play 65 games, and I think you've been out, Trump, because you know better, right? That's why you waited 8 months to give me some random message. I'm coming back out of retire. You're retired, bro, because you stink. All right. That being said, so I got Dyson Daniels as depoy, and this is the one that I'm trying to work into existence. I hope JJ's listening. I want Austin Reeves to be Sixth Man of the Year.
You and this Austin Reeves in a rotation, Tone.
I want him as the sixth man.
Oh my goodness, man!
He would be so good in that role.
Oh my god! You might wreck him if he was.
No. Listen, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put in a defender, right? Which they need. We're gonna put in a defender. And Reeves, we're gonna give you the keys to the second unit. That builds your confidence. We're gonna give you the keys to the second unit. You be the guy, ball in your hand. You make the decisions. I think he still averages 20 and his assists go up. Give him the keys to the second unit.
Yikes.
Because he's gonna be in lineups with Luka.
What kind of run we talking about with him, no, Tone? How about that?
What?
What kind of playing time are we talking about?
I'm still giving him like 32 minutes.
So he's still gonna play starter minutes.
He's finishing the game. He's getting starter minutes, but he's just coming in when they make that first sub and take off, hopefully one of somebody, boom, he's in there and he gets the offense going.
God, man.
I love that for him.
Oh my goodness, man.
You don't have to be a starter. You have to be a finisher.
Yeah, I can get with that. The rest of you dudes, yo, man, y'all know what it is. Mike, you a sucker. You're still salty because I beat you. Noman, you are a Steph Curry stan. I'm not trying to hear none of your logic about that. So beat it. You know where to find us at, guys. We are here every Tuesday. This is Fluent. That's my man right there. Chill. That's me right here. We do this every Tuesday on the Fluent and Chill Network. We do this on the Chilltown Hoops Network. We will see you next week, 8 o'clock. Be here or be square if you are not. So put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother. When's the last time you talked to your mother? My mother's birthday was Monday. I just talked to my mother. Call your mother. We'll talk to you guys soon. Until then, take it light. Take it.
I'm going to pull it up again. Look, I'll message you next week with schedule. That was April 17th.
Mike the loser. That's what we call him.
August 25th. Stop ducking.
The loser. Mike the loser. Mike the L. That's what you are. L.
Matt.
Fluent and chill, we call it how it's played from the field to the court. Every legend is away. Fourth quarter heat, over 2-minute drill. If you can't handle truth, better chill with the skill. LeBron or MJ.